Okay, so what is badminton? Badminton is a sport that requires 2 to 4 players, depending on what kind of game you want to play. Involves 2 rackets, a shuttlecock, or a bird, as the generic name would be for it. And what you really do is just hit it back and forth. Um, Now that's just the simplistic way of playing it. Now there's the competitive way, which me and my friend Derek actually do. So what does badminton have to do with physics? Well, badminton, like any other racket sport or sport in general, requires basic physics, in the concept at least. So for badminton, it's really all about holding energy and containing it and then releasing it in an explosive manner or with a soft touch, depending on your style or what your objective is on the court. So today I'll just be covering the basic idea of how physics works in badminton. So mainly how the racket works, the body, and how those two combined with physics can make the birdie move to where you want it to, how fast you want it to, if you want to go fast or slow. That all depends on, physics and energy and how energy moves, like from your legs to your arms and your arms to the racket. It all really depends on how you think about it, if you really want to have a physics perspective of this. Okay, so right now we're going to do an analysis of Derek's jump smash. And Derek is a fast swinger, which does play a role in this. So we know that Derek is a fast swinger. So that means in the equation momentum is equal to mass times velocity. So the mass of the racket times velocity of how fast Derek can swing the racket will, determine the momentum of the bird and how fast it goes, how powerful it is. And when I mean by powerful, I don't mean by the power equation. I just literally mean straight up raw power. As we see in these next few clips, Derek does a few more jump smashes and the regular smashes. Now, how does the bird, get such a high velocity? It's because of momentum. The mass of the racket times the velocity of how fast Derek can hit. And then Derek hits incredibly fast. So, of course, the bird's going to move incredibly fast as well. Okay, so now we're going to compare fast swing with a slow swing. And if you haven't noticed yet, that is me. I am a slow swinger. Derek is a fast swinger. So that means the mass of my racket times velocity of how fast I can swing will result in a lower momentum than Derek's, because I do have a slower swing, probably because I'm much chunkier. So Derek is able to hit much faster than I. It is obvious if you've ever seen us play. But those with slow swings can still generate large amounts of power, usually either by brute strength or by an increase of mass. Now, at that point, it's an increase in the mass of your racket. It doesn't depend on how heavy you are or how fast you can run or anything like that. It all depends on your arm, the racket, and somewhat muscle mass, or how much muscle you have to execute a incredibly strong smash. Well, not incredibly, but yeah. So what I just went over was mainly the basics of why the shuttlecock or the bird moves, and that is momentum. See, now momentum is pretty much key to how the bird moves. That's the reason why it goes either so fast, or when you hit it back, it feels like you're hitting a wall. See, there's a lot of components that come with badminton, and like any other sport, it's the same thing. Like tennis, it's almost literally it's very similar to badminton. And then like baseball, it all depends on, you know, what you're using, the mass, the velocity. It includes a lot of other things, not just like mass and like how fast you can swing or how strong you are. So we made this video not just because we wanted to explain badminton, it's because we wanted to open up our, you know, colleagues' eyes on the physics of the sports they play. Now we use momentum because most sports, you know, usually use momentum within their components, and then badminton, it uses a lot of, you know, physics behind it, mainly velocity and mass. Now with any other sport, and badminton too, there are literally hundreds of components. Like, there's so many, you can't really, you know, accurately find them all. You can only find the main ones, like momentum. Like I just said earlier, momentum is one of those things that we do know exist in sports. And for badminton, there's literally hundreds of components. Like, the way you move your head can actually affect how hard you hit. The way you move your back, the way you hold the racket, everything is accountable for playing effectively in almost any sport. It's all about physics. Now, if you play a sport and you think the physics of it, you know, you can actually, you know, benefit for yourself or for your team or anything like that.